Nikki Haley has launched a series of campaign ads targeting both Donald Trump and Joe Biden called Grumpy Old Men. Okay, but at least they're men. Chicago became the largest U.S. city to call for a ceasefire in Gaza, and in return, Gaza called for a ceasefire in Chicago.
Even world leaders who could be making it better are making it worse. For example, former President Trump went out of his way to praise the terrorist group Hezbollah, calling them, quote, very smart. Though, in Trump's defense, he thinks Hezbollah is the genie from Aladdin. Haley also called Trump totally unhinged and called for him to take a mental competency test. And here's some footage of Trump trying to buzz in with his answers.
Ding, 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 ding. Ping, boom.
See, he's fine. Hasn't lost a step. Trump did have a slight stumble this week while talking about banks, and he introduced an interesting new term called debank. Gen Z icon Kyle Rittenhouse is petitioning the court for the return of his rifle so he can destroy it. I don't know. Careful, Kyle. Trying to get your memorabilia back is how they finally got OJ.
The head of Chicago's police union is urging officers to defy the city's vaccine mandate, which is weird because usually Chicago police can't wait to take the shot. Walmart. Police in Ohio say that a report of a homeless man sleeping on a bench turned out to be a statue, which was a huge relief because they shot it 15 times. Pebbles, who was the world's oldest living dog, has died at the age of 22. But it's okay, his owners knew this was coming if they didn't keep him off my yard.
A new poll shows that 75% of LGBTQ voters support Joe Biden, but 0% of them support Joe Biden guessing what the B, T, and Q stand for.
The Kremlin celebrated the illegal annexation of Ukraine with a night of entertainment in Red Square. Say what you will, but a gig's a gig.
Startup airline Boom Supersonic is hoping to eventually fly passengers anywhere in the world in 4 hours or less for just $100. So get ready to fly fast and cheap on the only airline named after the sound of an explosion. This is fun. A Canadian woman was fined more than $25,000 for illegally importing bull semen. Meanwhile, in the U.S., bull semen is sold legally under the name White Claw.
Doctors in China removed more than 120 magnetic beads swallowed by a 5-year-old boy. Wow. Wait till his boss at the factory hears about this.
The CDC is warning about a salmonella outbreak that's linked to bird feeders. Yet another piece of bad news for people who eat out of bird feeders.
A conductor of a bullet train is facing disciplinary action after he left the controls to use the bathroom while the train was traveling at nearly 100 miles an hour. But brother, that chili was traveling at that same speed.
New Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has been accused of spreading white supremacist ideas, which is crazy. We're now counting Italians as white? Sizzler restaurants have announced that as a result of the impact from COVID, they are filing for bankruptcy, which is probably a good idea since the Sizzler buffet is the closest thing America has to a Wuhan wet market.
The population of Los Angeles has fallen for the 3rd straight year. Well, it's like Colin always says, LA is just not the same without Harvey. You always say it, man.
Cool. Thanks, man. That's cool. Researchers say that a system on the International Space Station that turns astronaut urine into drinking water could be used to provide clean water on Earth, which is the kind of amazing innovation that makes me think, wait, then what are astronaut brownies made of? Well, you're not going to like this. The chief of the Cherokee Nation is calling on car maker Jeep to stop using the tribe's name on its vehicles. So Jeep has agreed to change the name to, wow, the Aunt Jemima Mobile.
Singer R. Kelly was found guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking this week, but won't be sentenced until next May, after R. Kelly's lawyers successfully negotiated one more school year.
Good evening. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Welcome to Weekend Update. I'm Michael Che.
I'm Colin Jost. A federal indictment issued this week against Hunter Biden alleges that he evaded paying over $1 million of taxes between 2016 and 2020. And they're only catching him now? Man, this is super embarrassing for whoever was president from 2016 to 2020.
Mitch McConnell, seen here catching up on news from the Middle East, announced that he will step down as the Republican leader in the Senate. McConnell has been leader for almost 20 years, but he first got involved in politics back in 1968 when he lost a fiddle contest to the devil.
The indictment claims that instead of paying taxes, Hunter Biden spent his money on drugs and escorts. But honestly, it would have been more surprising if he remembered to do his taxes during that time. No one finishes doing cocaine with a hooker and is like, could I get a receipt?
Donald Trump said that at the debates, he wants both of them to stand instead of sit. So that's the status of our presidency. Standing is a feat of strength. I think we can learn a lot more watching them both try to get out of a beanbag chair.
Mitch McConnell, seen here watching the bank foreclose on a single mother, says that he has completely recovered after 2 incidents where he appeared to freeze up and become unresponsive. But suspiciously, he made the comments while being held up by 2 guys in beachwear.
Many are saying he is leaving because of his bad relationship with Donald Trump. But come on, just because you hate somebody doesn't mean you can't still have a very successful working relationship with them.
I almost feel like that was about me.
Speak for yourself. If convicted, Hunter Biden could be sentenced to up to 17 years in prison, which would be the first time any Biden has successfully completed a sentence.
Mitch McConnell, seen here walking out of a theater after watching 12 Years a Slave, announced he will step down in November. He'll be replaced by the current number 2 Republican in the Senate, a frozen embryo holding an assault rifle. Mitch McConnell, seen here after rearranging a blind woman's furniture.
Mitch McConnell officially endorsed Donald Trump for president because despite their differences, they actually go way back. Donald Trump endorsed Mark Robinson for North Carolina governor, calling Robinson Martin Luther King on steroids. Not to be confused with Martin Luther King on Ozempic. All right, you go again, Colin.
Mitch McConnell, seen here bringing peanuts into a preschool cafeteria. He will tell Republican senators to vote against additional aid for Ukraine and Israel until there are meaningful changes to the border. But the way it came out was brains.
In the wake of the Nashville shooting, President Biden once again called on Congress to pass an assault weapons ban. Or, hear me out, stop and frisk for whites. How long before these kids earn a stereotype?
Boeing announced that the head of their troubled 737 MAX program is leaving the company after he was sucked out of an emergency exit. Next Thursday is Leap Day, which means we got to wait till Friday for it to finally be over.
Arizona Senator Kirsten Sinema, who looks like all the Flintstones at once, announced that she is retiring from the Senate. But I doubt any of us will ever forget the name of Senator Crystal Salmonella. All right.
Gave a moving speech on the Senate floor announcing his retirement, which honestly made me start to admire Mitch McConnell. Seen here watching a single mother sell her blood for diaper money.
Yesterday, Mike Johnson, whose position as House Speaker is in jeopardy, traveled to Mar-a-Lago for a meeting with Donald Trump. And boy, is his jaw tired. Nikki Haley has launched a series of campaign ads targeting both Donald Trump and Joe Biden called Grumpy Old Men. Okay, but at least they're men.
It was reported that President Biden's campaign ended its January fundraising with $56 million in the bank. Now, if he can only remember his ATM code. While boarding Air Force One this week, Biden narrowly avoided tripping and falling on the stairs again, and instead did a forward roll before inviting everyone inside the chocolate factory.
It was reported that 92-year-old Rupert Murdoch is set to marry his 67-year-old girlfriend. The couple asked, in lieu of wedding gifts, send lube.
Oh, good, another one.
Oh, another one. It was reported that 92-year-old Rupert Murdoch is set to marry his 67-year-old girlfriend. The couple is registered at Campbell's Funeral Home.
On his website, truthsocial. I'm going to guess scam, Donald Trump denied reports that he was so depressed after the 2020 election that he stopped eating, saying, quote, "It was not that I was not eating, it was that I was eating too much." Wow, good save. That's like when a rumor went around middle school that I had peed my pants, and I was like, joke's on you, because I actually pooped them.
In a lawsuit against Ye, a former employee claims that Ye compared himself to Hitler minus the gas chambers. And I, for one, am shocked to hear that Ye believes in the Holocaust.
A new study claims Fremont, California is the happiest city in America, while the saddest city in America is once again Puppy Grave, Indiana. Which, incidentally, is the favorite vacation spot of Mitch McConnell.
Jim Jordan, seen here describing how he attacks the nipple, is no longer the nominee for House Speaker after Republicans dropped him Friday, which, by the way, he's used to because he was dropped a lot as a child. Potential new candidates for Speaker include Tom Emmer, Kevin Hern, Jack Bergman, and 6 more candidates who are clearly George Santos.
Senator Mitch McConnell, seen here being told a black woman made a country album, has come out in favor of a bill that would potentially ban TikTok in the U.S. Of course, for McConnell, TikTok is just what the Grim Reaper says while tapping his watch.
A social media influencer was arrested for allegedly throwing a tampon at bouncers who were removing her from a club. Well, at least we know why she was acting that way. Should I just go home? I'm gonna go home.
Senator Mitch McConnell, seen here watching someone get injured at the Special Olympics, said that he is not concerned with threats Donald Trump makes at his rallies to remove him as Senate Minority Leader. In fact, McConnell says the threats make him laugh harder than his favorite comedy show, Dahmer.
You are a stupid man. 72-year-old Jerry Turner from The Golden Bachelor announced that he and his 70-year-old wife are divorcing after 3 months of marriage. But like they say, there's still plenty of fish in the sea, Materi. See Materi, Colin. That's
Materi. Really good. And you have to think that everybody in the government is a secret pedophile except for this guy dancing with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, isn't that the happiest you've ever seen Trump? He's dancing like nobody's checking IDs.
Police say a man in Nebraska snuck into a home and slept with a sex doll belonging to a man who recently died. Wow, she moved on fast. All right.
A martial artist in Australia punched a 7-foot-tall kangaroo that was trying to drown his dog. Australia, where life is a Mad Lib. Just today, Donald Trump posted on Truth Social that he wasn't scared of going to jail for violating a gag order, saying,
It's Weekend Update with Colin Jost and Michael Che.
Senator Mitch McConnell, seen here being told a black woman made a country album, has come out in favor of a bill that would potentially ban TikTok in the U.S. Of course, for McConnell, TikTok is just what the Grim Reaper says while tapping his watch.
On Monday, Donald Trump testified under oath in his civil fraud trial, though technically he was never sworn in because the Bibles kept bursting into flames.
After a judge issued a gag order against President Trump, Trump told reporters that the judge said, basically, I don't have the right to speak. Then he added, she's like literally killing me. Then he yelled, you're not even my real mom, and slammed his bedroom door. It happened. And yesterday on Truth Social, Trump posted a courtroom sketch of him sitting next to Jesus.
Hey, President Biden made a drastic change in his immigration policy, saying he would be willing to shut down the border if given the power by Congress. It's the kind of unexpected shift in direction Biden usually only makes in the middle of a sentence. The Biden campaign is trying to appeal to black voters as polls show their support for Biden has declined. It's getting so bad, he now only has support from Obama's white half.
Rupert Murdoch this week officially turned on Donald Trump. First, the New York Post ran a cover calling Ron DeSantis Ron DeFuture, even though Ron DeFuture sounds more like a drag queen from outer space. Then on Thursday, the Post showed Donald Trump as an egg sitting on a wall with the headline Trumpty Dumpty, which had to be the easiest Photoshop job in history. And Trump went out of his way to praise the terrorist group Hezbollah, calling them, quote, very smart. Though in Trump's defense, he thinks Hezbollah is the genie from Aladdin. Trump has also been promoting a song called Justice for All, which features himself and a choir of men jailed for their roles in the January 6th attack. And I feel bad for the January 6th singers because, you know, jail gets a lot worse once the other prisoners find out you're in an a cappella group. Has become, I like that we restate it. California has become the first state in the country to issue ebony alerts when a black child goes missing. And hopefully the police find them before I do. Scientists have determined that the cause of the mysterious deaths of dozens of African elephants was a bacterial infection, and not Margaret, the one elephant who stood to inherit everything.
He gonna win.
Yeah. New York Mayor Eric Adams responded to allegations that he accepted illegal donations from Turkey, saying, I have not been accused of wrongdoing and I will continue to cooperate. Then he put on his fez and sped away on a flying carpet.
One of the founders of the Black Lives Matter movement announced that he is supporting Donald Trump for president. And I'm going to assume he announced it during a traffic stop. The poll shows President Biden and Donald Trump are tied in a hypothetical 2024 rematch, though they're both running 50 points behind Kill Me.
Calling, please don't let us win. Many doctors are saying that they have a hard time convincing their black patients to agree to take the COVID vaccine. Well, maybe they should try telling them it makes you immune from paying child support.
This week marks the start of, okay, but what about a White History Month?
Tomorrow night, the New England Patriots will face the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 52. So whether you're a Pats fan or an Eagles fan, remember, child support was due on the 1st.
Experts are saying that Cape Town, South Africa will completely run out of water on April 12th. Meanwhile, in the rest of the world... Yeah, that's fine.
This week marks the 65th anniversary of Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat on an Alabama bus. And I just wish that all black people could follow her example of sitting down and shutting up. Oh my God! A group of geneticists have announced plans to bring back the dodo and reintroduce it to Africa. And if you ask me, I can think of at least one dodo I'd like to reintroduce to Africa.
This week, sky gazers were treated to the beaver moon, which is only visible for a few seconds when the moon gets out of the shower. MJ, the musical about the life of Michael Jackson, has become one of the highest grossing shows on Broadway. And my review of the acting is the same as my opinion of MJ's trial. Michael is amazing, but the kids are not believable at all. Next week, Lifetime will air their first Christmas movie featuring a sex scene. The sex scene will finally explain why Santa named that one reindeer Vixen. Weird name for a reindeer, man.
Well, this week, we said goodbye to a former First Lady, a former Secretary of State, and the Supreme Court's first female justice, and also a guy who claims to be all three of those things.
Melania Trump made a rare public appearance when she attended the funeral of former First Lady Rosalind Carter, who died at the age of 96. Melania said that she was deeply saddened to be reminded that your partner can live that long. Last month, Beyonce posted a photo on Instagram of herself in a chrome Versace dress and platinum blonde hair that many people online described as too white. In fact, Beyonce looked so white that I was finally attracted to her.
That was in confidence. Disney announced that they'll be making 2 more sequels to Frozen. But by the time they come out, the only thing frozen will be Elsa's eggs. She wants a career.
The FBI has launched a corruption investigation into New York Mayor Eric Adams by seizing 2 of his cell phones, one named Work Phone and the other named Shorties and Shady Stuff. A new app has been introduced called Wrapped that claims it can show Instagram users who is looking at their pictures. Uh-oh, said a bunch of high school teachers. A first-class dining menu from the Titanic is being auctioned off for over $80,000. The menu includes duck in a port wine sauce, spring lamb, and bottomless water. It's the Titanic.
Because the Titanic, right.
This week marks the start of, okay, but what about a White History Month? That speech sucked. First of all, he didn't even say hi. He just started talking like we was already talking. I found that to be rude.
Me when I'm talking to you. I sacrifice everything for this family.
You want a medal, bitch?
I want some respect.
Hey, oh, Oh boy, a 102-year-old woman from New York who survived the 1918 Spanish flu has now beat coronavirus twice. But sadly, she was no match for my car. Oh man, look at all these white girls crying. They look like Dave Matthews just played Crash Into Me. What you so sad about? You're gonna be fine. What do you think is gonna happen if Bernie Sanders doesn't get to be president? You still get to be white. What do you think? If the Mexicans leave, they're gonna take the tacos with them? It's fine, white girls, you get to keep your tacos.
It's Che's promise. White girls keep their tacos.
It's my platform. It's the one thing I know. in like 2 months, and I'm just now hearing about this. It's kind of embarrassing. I feel like I should care more about Africa. Kind of like when you run into an old friend and ask, hey, how's your kid? And she's like, Che, he's your son too. Oh, wait, hold on. Where are your kids right now?
Okay, check you out. Now you want to be worried about our kids?
Our kids?
Yeah, CJ's starting to look just like you.
Who is CJ?
Che Jr.
Wait a minute, so his name is Che Jr. Che?
Yes.
Then he said he's gonna stop half the crime and 90% of the heroin with something called slats, which, as you can see, is a wall without all the wall. Hear that, Mexico? Good luck trying to crack this code. What are you gonna do? Pass your drugs and small children through those giant slats? Imagine.
I don't like that. I should fire him.
And you're just admitting that.
Uh-huh.
But that's obstruction of justice.
Sure, okay.
Wait, so did I get him? Is this all over? Oh, no, I didn't. Nothing matters. Absolutely nothing matters anymore. Can I be honest? When someone asked me, did you hear what Donald Trump called Haiti and Africa? I was like, oh boy, did it start with an N? But then I heard what he said, and I was like, that's it? I've said that about countries for not having a CVS.
What do I think, honestly? I think that maybe I was meant to be here tonight because I was meant to meet you.
That is not actually why we brought you here.
It's just that, and I think, well, you go first.
You're the only one going. Imagine you're a Coast Guard or a TSA or any of the thousands of government workers that are actually stopping drugs and crime from getting into this country, and you haven't been paid in a month, and the president gets on TV, doesn't say sorry, doesn't even say hi, but instead he's like, hey, what y'all think about slats? Okay, Mr. Trump, 2 more minutes.
The thing about the blacks is that they're killing each other.
Announced that country music star Morgan Wallen had his recording contract suspended after a video surfaced of the singer using the N-word. Wonder who he learned that from. Okay, I met you 70 seconds ago.
Okay, well, if I don't leave now, I'll miss my flight, and you'll lose me forever.
Well, then you better go. Beginning next week, New Yorkers will have to provide documentation of their condition and answer medical questions like, what's the matter, you? Nah, man, you cool.
Well, anyway, you're so dope. Update's amazing, and you and Jost are the perfect team.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Do you like me?
What? Yeah, sure.
You do? All right. Thanks, Che.
A number of people storming the Capitol didn't actually vote in the election. Huh. So maybe they weren't the savvy political geniuses we all thought they were.
It's doing to her face.
That's a solid burn, Jacob. Go on, hit it.
Finally.
All right, I'll do.
The car passed.
Advisor to New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has accused him of sexually harassing her for years, making him the odds-on favorite for the 2024 nomination. You're not gonna like the rest of these. Cuomo denies the allegations, claiming that he would never be inappropriate to any broad with friggin' dynamite bazoombas. All the time. Take a look, I made a video. I'm Michael Che, standing on the floor of the Republican National Convention playing America's hottest new mobile app where you gotta catch the rarest creature of them all. Minorities at the RNC. It's called Trumpy Go. So, as Trump would always say, let's round up some brown people. Am I the only one still terrified by this? I remember when Tom Hanks got it like 5 years ago, 6 months ago, and we all sat there teary-eyed thinking we might lose Forrest Gump. Now a whole football team gets sick and they just moved the game. I don't know where I'm going with this. It's been a really weird week, and I really thought the president was gonna die. A lot of poor people could lose their coverage. Conservatives are upset because it doesn't repeal Obamacare enough. And I'm upset because it still doesn't cover medicinal cocaine. And I got a screenplay to finish. I spent the money. You slave a slave. You don't hire a slave. What would that job interview even be? Hey, we're looking for somebody long term. Where do you see yourself in 400 years? Congratulations, you're hired, Phil. My name is Mustafa. Not anymore, it ain't. Doctors in China removed more than 120 magnetic beads swallowed by a 5-year-old boy. Wow. Wait till his boss at the factory hears about this.
James Carter.
Good evening, Mr. Trump.
Oh, no.
My question is, do you believe you can be a devoted president to all the people?
That is a great question, Denzel. Thank you for this question. About the inner cities.
My name is James, and I didn't ask anything about no inner cities.
The inner cities are
rare minorities around? I mean, you know, not obvious stuff. I caught a couple black ones, but you don't...
I've seen some, I guess, Hawaiians.
Did you see any rare minorities? Everybody wants to keep their Trumpy minds to themselves, but I'm gonna catch them. I hate to crack that whip, but you gotta get to work on that Oval Office. If you get hungry, there's a sandwich in the trash. Meanwhile, white girls are crying because they think they're running out of tacos. Is that what white girls think? Do they think they're gonna have to build a White House?
Yeah, it's called the White House.
Is that why they're crying so much? Now, reminder to all the women that told me I need to grow up, Beyonce is married to a 50-year-old weed guy. So, God ain't done with me yet.
China has banned its soldiers from wearing the new Apple Watch over concerns of cybersecurity, said one Chinese soldier, but my daughter made it for me. Well, the
I stand by it.
Yeah. Political experts note that the 5 Democratic senators who have announced runs for president have not attacked each other yet because they're friends. But that'll change soon because one sassy little bitch didn't come here to make friends. I'm sure that he was grateful that it's all over and he's completely ready to move on.
All of the Democrat politicians, they have to be accountable.
Wow. It's like if Scrooge woke up on Christmas morning, discovered he had a second chance at life, then found Tiny Tim and took a crowbar to his good leg. A man in Australia has been bitten by a venomous spider on his penis for the second time in 5 months. Fool me once, said the guy who had to suck out the poison.
I mean, what would a Kanye West and Donald Trump meeting even be? It's like those old cartoons when Scooby-Doo meets with the Harlem Globetrotters. And you're like, why? How would that even help? What would that do?
I mean, at this point, if Native Americans are asking us for anything, can't we just give it to them? We've basically treated them like Milton from Office Space. We just keep moving them to worse and worse areas and pretending we're doing them a favor. And this one spot in North Dakota is their stapler. Just let them have the stapler.
Donald Trump has signed 18 executive orders in his first 12 days as president. Now, that sounds like a lot, but keep in mind that it is a lot. Everything people said Donald Trump couldn't do, he just does. His slogan should have been, yes, we can. You can't ban Muslims. Yes, we can. I want to know, what did the 7% of white people get arrested for? What, was they not arresting enough black people? The review found that 88% of the cases involving the use of force were against African Americans. Black residents say they found the police report almost as shocking as they found the police tasers. A Pennsylvania woman was arrested for allegedly giving her 6-month-old son cocaine. But on the bright side, he did say his first million words.
A new study finds that people who like grilled cheese sandwiches have more sex. Read more about it in this month's issue of What? Officials in England reburied remains of King Richard III after his bones were discovered underneath a parking lot 3 years ago. So this time, everyone remember, he's buried in C8.
It's being reported that the CIA believes Russia influenced our presidential election in favor of Donald Trump. You see? Feel better now, popular vote? No? Okay. At this point, telling us
In support of women. And they should support women, because now if you're a woman and you hear Tic Tac shaking in someone's pocket, it's like hearing the Jaws theme. Or, on the other hand, Tic Tacs could just run right at it.
Tic Tacs, grab bad breath by the...
And then this morning, Trump tweeted, "Nothing ever happened with any of these women, totally made up nonsense. Nobody has more respect for women than me." Now, of course, we know when Trump tweets, he sometimes makes some typos. So maybe let's just correct that one at the end for him. Yeah. Nobody inspects women more than me. Yes, I got that. While appearing on MSNBC, Kellyanne Conway defended President Trump's travel ban by referencing what she called the Bowling Green Massacre, which is a terrorist attack that never happened. In response, Congress immediately launched an investigation into Hillary Clinton's role in the Bowling Green Massacre. His campaign manager this week was sentenced to 4 years in prison, and for Trump, that's good news. Paul Manafort, who looks like he was born divorced, faced up to 24 years in prison, but only got 4 years, probably in a minimum security white-collar facility with a bunch of his friends. The guy stole over $50 million, and he basically got sentenced to college.
2 men in New Jersey were arrested with $150 million worth of opioids. For reference, here's what $150 million worth of opioids looks like. The FBI raided the home, office, and hotel room of President Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, this week. Authorities first became suspicious of Cohen when they found out he was the lawyer for Donald Trump. This does not look good for Trump. If being black has taught me anything, is that when the feds come kicking in your door, they got something. FBI raids are like when your girl goes through your phone. She's only doing it to confirm whatever she already knows.
Jersey Senator Robert Menendez was indicted this week on federal corruption charges. It's no surprise, considering that a senator taking a bribe is the New Jersey state seal.
Accusers are only coming out now for fame and publicity. Yeah, that's every little girl's dream, to be forever known as the 7th woman groped by Donald Trump. He also believes these accusations are part of a conspiracy to rig the election. Only Donald Trump could have sex scandals, no political experience, poll at 0% with minorities, and still say, if I lose, it's rigged.
New research shows that the pre-human Lucy probably lived in trees. So either pre-humans were more ape-like than previously thought, or that bitch cray. Well,
I mean, you don't expect Tom Brady to tell the ref, hey, let me try that touchdown pass again. The ball was deflated. I guess Donald Trump was just acting like a patriot. Lindsey Vonn announced that she and Tiger Woods have broken up, while Tiger Woods announced that, woohoo!
California is considering a new law that would fine actors in pornographic movies up to $70,000 if they don't wear condoms, said the porn industry. Oh, yeah? And what are you going to do to us if we don't have the money?
It's a real thing. And I get that it's hard to pronounce a lot of these names, but that's what makes award shows so fun. I mean, just imagine John Travolta as he introduces the wickedly talented Davido Olajuwon. But definitely white. Yeah. Trump says the ban is to prevent radical Islamic terrorists in America. But first of all, what is radical Islam? That's just too subjective of a term. I have a Muslim friend. He doesn't eat pork and he doesn't have sex with white women. Now, to me, that's mad radical. The Blue Moon diamond, which sold at auction for $48 million, was bought by a billionaire for his 7-year-old daughter, which raises the disturbing question, did that guy cheat on his daughter? Election officials in Florida said their ballot machines overheated, causing mismatched results in the recount. Word? They overheated in 2018 with all this technology? I have a watch that can count every step I take and lets me watch porno on the treadmill. for motivation. It's like when you wake up hungry and there's nothing in your fridge, but you check again 20 minutes later as if something good is gonna magically appear. But nope, just Tang and prunes.
That's a weird fridge.
It didn't even feel like I was watching a debate. It felt like I was watching a divorced couple fight for custody of a kid that hates them both. A federal investigation concluded that the city of Chicago's police officers used excessive force and unfairly target minorities. Oh, so that was the problem. You know, as a black dude that grew up in, as Colin puts it, the ghetto, liberals did not see this coming because we're too segregated. It's like we forget there's another half of the country. I didn't think anybody would vote for Trump, just like I didn't think a Madea Halloween would be the #1 movie in America. I mean, who would choose that? Democrats got too cocky, man. They were like the Golden State Warriors, winning 73 games. They won so often that they didn't think they could lose again. But then they got their ass kicked in Ohio. Yeah. Trump may have a point. It does seem like virtually every media outlet is doing everything in their power to prevent a Trump presidency. The media is acting like the sober girls at a bar, making sure their country doesn't go home with that scuzzy orange dude. They're like, America, no, get in the car. We're going home with Hillary. No, I'm just kidding. Police in Nebraska arrested a man for marijuana possession after discovering the drug in his car inside a container that was marked not weed. Was marked not weed. The police pulled the man over after he sped by their car, which was also marked not police.
The Labor Department announced that last month employers added more than 250,000 jobs. But it looks like this fool just lost his. You change, B.
White women. Well, they said suburban women, but we all know that suburban means white, right? I mean, if they said ethnic women, nobody's like, oh, you mean the Irish? Also, white women, don't try to appropriate blindly voting for the Democrats. That's our thing, okay? It will be kind of fun to see white women get their votes suppressed like us. Imagine 200 Megans crying outside a polling station because they literally cannot. Some are taking offense at the use of the word crippled. I'm more concerned about his use of the word again. Like, what years are you talking about specifically, dude? Whenever rich old white guys start bringing up the good old days, my Negro senses start tingling. I mean, after all those years of progress, Trump's gonna really go with, nah, I think we had it right the first time.
What are being called penis fish have washed up on the shore of a California beach. Not only that, one kid says he even found one in his mother's nightstand. A man in Kansas was arrested after he was caught having sex with the tailpipe of a car. The sex was described as exhausting. A new study shows that Beaumont, Texas is the least educated city in the country. Oh man, wait until they don't read about this. In the latest episode of Gwyneth Paltrow's new Netflix show, Sex, Love, and Goop, a sexologist explained how people can experience full-body orgasms while fully clothed without touching, which is also what happens when your mom watches Bridgerton.
Insiders are also saying that during meetings, President Biden repeatedly uses the F word in conversations. More concerning, the F word he keeps using is forget.
A man in Oregon who had collapsed in his house was saved after his local Domino's Pizza became concerned he hadn't called in his regular order and sent a driver to check on him. It's all part of Domino's new slogan, "You die when we say you die."
Trump advisor Stephen Miller also wants to hold migrants seeking asylum in tent cities. Fun fact, tent city is also what Stephen Miller gets anytime a girl talks to him.
Police in Canada will soon start making people caught drinking and driving listen to Nickelback. So let that be a lesson to all you drunk drivers out there. Make sure the crash kills you. It was announced that Creed singer Scott Stapp will play Frank Sinatra in an upcoming movie. But the good news is Sammy Davis Jr. will be played by Scarlett Johansson.
I'm Michael Che.
I'm Colin Jost. Good night.
Residents on Staten Island are upset with the local man who keeps a pet horse in his yard, saying the animal smells and attracts flies. But you know what else smells and attracts flies? Staten Island. Officials at JFK Airport say that a suitcase containing more than 100 pounds of cocaine was left unclaimed at the luggage carousel. For reference, here's what 100 pounds of cocaine looks like.
Lawyers for R. Kelly, who's being held without bail, are complaining that the singer is only allowed to visit with one of his girlfriends at a time. Worse, visiting hours conflict with the schedule of their middle school.
And in this week's presidential porno recap, Trump's personal lawyer Michael Cohen, who's definitely a candidate for Friend of the Year, said that he used funds from his own home equity line to pay $130,000 to silence Stormy Daniels. Can anyone in America imagine taking out a home equity loan to help their friend pay off a porn star? The best part is, you know that right after Cohen settled up with Stormy, Trump saw another porn star and was like, she's pretty cute too. And Cohen's like, dude, I'm going to lose my house.
Police in Florida arrested a man in a local Target for masturbating with an Olaf doll. Worse, he let it go. UFO enthusiasts have declared that Hillary Clinton is the first ET candidate after she pledged to release government files on UFOs and Area 51. Unfortunately, the aliens keep all their files on a private email server. Joe Biden is now the frontrunner and just picked up an endorsement from Michigan's governor only days before the state's primary. And it makes sense that Michigan would love Biden because it kind of looks like a hand trying to touch a lady's hair. The space agency said that the landing of a spacecraft on a comet this week was rougher than they initially thought, with the probe bouncing twice before landing. Only twice? Said Spirit Airlines.
Experts say that by 2026, Disney Plus will surpass Netflix to become the top streaming platform in the world. Not so fast, said Pornhub.
DC Comics announced that the new Superman will be bisexual. Yes, they also announced that the Riddler has always been down for whatever.
By the way, can the media please stop getting us all riled up with headlines like, will porn star bring down president? Is Mueller moving in for the kill? Just stop teasing us if there's no payoff. I'll tell the media the same thing I told my high school girlfriend. I'm totally fine waiting, but then you gotta stop rubbing the outside of my pants.
And I get that it's hard to pronounce a lot of these names, but that's what makes award shows so fun. I mean, just imagine John Travolta as he introduces the wickedly talented DeVito Olajuwon.
Amazon announced that their new Lord of the Rings TV series will be called Rings of Power, though I'm personally more excited for the spin-off Gollum in Paris.
Wednesday was International Women's Day. I said was, next joke. A new study finds that despite women making less money than men, more single women in the U.S. own homes than single men, thanks to a phenomenon economists call divorce.
As this year's awards season gets underway, there's growing movement to get rid of the gendered categories of Best Actor and Best Actress and instead call them Best Actor and Best Actor who got paid less.
And finally, Weekend Update would like to congratulate Madonna, who gave birth to a beautiful baby girl last Monday. The baby weighed in at 6 pounds 9 ounces, making it the 4th largest object ever to pass through Madonna's birth canal.
This week marks the 65th anniversary of Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat on an Alabama bus. And I just wish that all black people could follow her example of sitting down and shutting up.
Scientists have trained a goldfish to drive a car. They believe it's the first step to eventually training women.
WNBA star Brittany Griner was freed from prison in exchange for Russian arms dealer Victor Bout. It's actually a great trade because Bout was only averaging 5 points and 2 rebounds a game.
After this year's elections, a record-setting 12 states will have female governors, while the other 38 states will have dinner ready on time.
This is on cards. I want to switch it up a little. Che didn't write this one. This is all me.
I like to hear this.
Last week was National Rosa Parks Day, or as we call it in my house, Uppity Bus Passenger Day.
This week, Duchess of York Sarah Ferguson visited the Big Apple and showed off her 14-pound weight loss. Hopefully, this will not interfere with her official duties of sitting on her fat ass all day long.
It was announced that Brittany Griner has signed with the Phoenix Mercury for 1 year. Unfortunately, the WNBA pays less than a Russian prison.
Greece has elected its first ever female president, and of course, the country is already falling apart.
I like it.
Yeah.
Pop singer Madonna was outraged this week when a tabloid photographer snapped her picture while she was breastfeeding her new baby. Apparently, the baby was blocking her nipple.
It was reported that the organizers of King Charles's coronation have officially invited Meghan Markle, and this is nice, at a starting salary of $19 an hour. That seems very generous, guys.
Yeah. This will get you back. A woman in Texas allegedly dumped 3 buckets of human waste in front of a police department and drove away. It's a rare case of erratic behavior from a lady who poops in a bucket. UFO enthusiasts have declared that Hillary Clinton is the first ET candidate after she pledged to release government files on UFOs and Area 51. Unfortunately, the aliens keep all their files on a private email server.
It was reported that more than 400 million pieces of plastic has washed up on a remote island in the Indian Ocean. And for reference, here's what 400 million pieces of plastic looks like.
A new book claims that Madonna once smeared peanut butter all over John F. Kennedy Jr.'s body and then licked it off, which just goes to show you, Madonna's a whore.
Officials in Berlin announced that women will now be allowed to go topless at the city's pools. But officials also said to be aware, it's not going to be the ones you want.
Saudi Arabia announced on Tuesday that it would begin allowing women to drive. Wow, that's only a few short years after cars were allowed to drive themselves.
It was announced that Creed singer Scott Stapp will play Frank Sinatra in an upcoming movie. But the good news is Sammy Davis Jr. will be played by Scarlett Johansson. A nun in Colombia who had lived in a convent for 8 years has left the clergy to become a porn star, destroying the otherwise spotless sexual reputation of the Catholic Church.
Investigators say that the $4.5 million diamond ring stolen from Kim Kardashian will most likely be made into smaller, less valuable stones. You know, like Kendall and Kylie.
Well, guys, tomorrow is Mother's Day, whether you want it to be one or not. In an effort to compete with Victoria's Secret, Target has launched a new bra and underwear brand for women. It's the lingerie that'll have your man saying, "Not tonight."
New medical research shows that men and women have different food cravings. Men preferring meat and women preferring sweets. Scientists trace this back to caveman days, when men had to go out and hunt for food while women sat on their fat asses eating chocolates.
To make things right tonight, you're standing at my door, you're standing at my door. I can't hide what feels so so right. I'm alive with you by my side.
A new study of female bottlenose dolphins suggests that their clitoris can experience pleasure during sexual stimulation, but sadly, their fins can't reach.
It was announced.
Do you get it?
Yeah, some owners of McDonald's franchises are reportedly concerned about a campaign partnership with Cardi B, especially the ad where they claim their burgers have a wet-ass patty.
Demi Moore says she would like to have another baby, this time a boy, to go along with her 3 daughters and 2 huge breasts.
A painting by Pablo Picasso portraying his lover as a sea creature was sold at auction for $67 million. It's a beautiful abstract expression of his love and admiration that he named Titty Squid.
Representative Liz Cheney attacked the House GOP leadership, saying they've enabled white supremacy and anti-Semitism. House leadership rejected Cheney's attacks, calling them cheaper than a black rabbi. A 10-year-old boy in Florida faces misdemeanor battery charges after he allegedly touched a teacher's breast, because under Florida law, students are required to wait for their teacher to make the first move.
You know, as a man, there's no way I can understand the full impact of this issue, but I asked a bunch of women around the office what their personal experience was with abortion, and I got to admit, I learned a lot from the HR meeting they made me go to as a result.
A British woman discovered when she got pregnant that she had a second tiny vagina. Yeah, da butt.
Thursday was National No Broad Day, which I celebrated by not supporting women. It's a broad joke.
A new survey finds that half of Americans think that in the future, having sex with a robot will be normal, while the other half are women. A woman in Atlanta gave birth to her baby in a McDonald's, so caution, wet floor.
Who are safer drivers, men or women? Well, according to a new survey, 55% of adults feel that women are most responsible for minor fender benders, while 78% blame men for most fatal crashes. Please note that the percentages in these pie graphs do not add up to 100% because the math was done by a woman. For those of you hissing at that joke, it should be noted that that joke was written by a woman. So now you don't know what the hell to do, do you? No, I'm just kidding. We don't hire women.